Hello everyone, this is Gage from Gondorian Smith, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys another Third Age Reforged online multiplayer battle replay. This one is a 4 versus 4 pitch battle that was sent to me by Pharaoh, so big thank you to him for sending me this replay. I'm going to go ahead and go into the army compositions beginning with his own. So he's going to be playing as Isengard. He's got 3 units of the cheap Dunleading Clansmen, just a good fodder unit. Because they are spears, they can tend to ward off lower tier cavalry, but against knights they are still going to struggle. He's got a couple units of the standard Uruk-hai pikemen, a very good solid pike unit with good armor. And over here he's also got a few units of the Uruk-hai infantry. I believe he's got actually 3 units of them, 2 here and then 1 somewhere else. Maybe only hit 2 though, now that I look again. But a very, very sturdy sword and shield infantry unit. Again, not AP, but they should be able to beat most other sword and shield infantry units except for the elites or maybe some elven units like that. In addition to that, he has got a couple units of Warg Skirmishers on either flank. He's also got a unit of the Isengard Ballista, as well as a unit of Nazkai for his general. Nazkai, of course, very, very scary, multiple HP, AP bodyguard unit. He's also got the Trolls of the White Hand, as well as 2 units of Snugga Skirmishers, 2 units of Uruk-hai Crossbowmen, as well as a unit of the Lurtz's Hunting Packer, of course, a body-piercing archer unit elite. Over here to his left, we have got, I believe, Steward of Dale, yes, playing as Khazad-dûm. He's got 1 unit of the Dwarven Miners, 1 unit of 2nd Legion Axeguard. Looks like 2 units of Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm, 2 units of Khazad-dûm Reclaimers, 2 units of 1st Legion Pikes, 3 units of 3rd Legion Infantry, 2 units of the Melee Cavalry, that is the Mercenary Cav, and 1 unit of the Legion Bodyguard for his General. Over here, oh, if we can actually get over there without lagging. Oh, my bad. We can see the next ally of the blue team, which is going to be Boyd, playing as the Realm of Mirkwood. I believe he's got 2 or 3 units of the Hir-e-Oth, very good sword and shield infantry unit. A couple units of the cheaper Blades of Emin-Duir. He's also got a unit of the Elven King's Palace Guard back here, very, very scary melee elite. He's also got a unit of the Ents as his general, surprisingly. Not generally a good idea to put your general in a unit of Trolls or Ents, but we'll see how it works out for him. The Ents are, of course, very strong. On either flank, he's got a unit of the Bows of Emin-Duir, of course a horse archer unit. Being elves, they're very accurate, but also being Mirkwood, they do not have much armor. For his main line, he's got a couple units of Hir-e-Lang, as well as a couple units of Hir-e-X Spearmen. He's also got a couple units of Hir-e-Ping Archers. He's probably also got some more hidden archers around here somewhere, but we'll see them later in the battle if he does have them. Pardon me. You can now see the next ally of Pharaoh, which is going to be Bloodbath McGrath. He's got a couple units of Mithlond Lancers on either flank. Of course, they are hybrids that are Lancers that also have a few Javelin volleys to throw. He's got 2 units of the Noldoran... Oh, no, sorry. He's got 2 units of Noldoran Guard, I believe. 1 unit of the Noldoran Blade Masters with their armor upgrade for his General's Bodyguard. He's got a Catapult, which artillery... The Isengard Ballista and the Runic Cannon, in my opinion, are about the only exception in most cases, at least for me personally. But anything besides them, any artillery brought besides them in pitch battles just tends to not work super well. Maybe for other people it does, but at least for me, I've found bringing artillery, unless it's the Isengard Ballista or the Runic Cannon, is generally not worth it, but we'll see how he does with it. He's got 1 unit of the Mithlond Swordmasters, very low armor but very high skill and high attack value shock unit infantry, but without AP. He's got a unit of the Forlondon Pikemen, as well as a unit of the Mithlond Pikemen, a unit of the Noldoran Guard down here, as well as a couple units of Forlondon Marines, and a unit of Forlondon Archers. He probably also has a couple of hidden units around here, but again, the elves are generally expensive, so you should expect a small army. I also did miss that he has also got a unit of the Mithlond Nobles, the Chariots that can throw javelins, and are very good at disrupting lines, particularly of archers. I believe that is going to be all of the army compositions for the blue team, so I will go ahead and start the replay quickly here, and I will see you once again once we can see the other team's army comps. Alright, so now we can look at the Team 2 army composition, the first of which is going to be the Realm of Lothlorien, played by A. Lamau. He's got a couple units of the March Wardens of the Wood, followed by a unit of the Kindred of Celeborn here right behind him. That is also going to be his General's Bodyguard, it looks like. He's also got a couple units of the Elder Council, going to be very good with their AP Javelins against the heavily armored forces of Khazad-dûm. He's got a unit of the Riders of the Golden Wood, a Horse Archer unit. Also, back here, he has got a lot of infantry. He's got some Lorien Warriors, AP Shock Infantry. Also, their AP is going to serve them very well against the heavily armored forces of Khazad-dûm. He's got a couple units of the Lorien Swordmasters. Again, their high skill should serve them quite well. The Spears of the Wood, probably not going to do super well, but they should be able to ward off the Mercenary Cavalry. The very elite Karis Galadhan's Guardians Pikemen. Another unit of the cheaper Spears, and another unit of the Lorien Swordmasters. He's probably got some hidden units around here elsewhere, but we'll see them later as the battle progresses. The next army is going to be commanded by Wilbo, who's going to be playing as Gondor. And actually, I might actually take back about what I said earlier about the artillery, just because on this particular map, the Team 2 has to deploy so close to this mountain, they're actually pretty clumped up in a lot of areas, so the artillery may actually work out quite well for Team 1. However, regardless, we've got some Gondor cavalry here, as well as a unit of the Mithrandir's Retinue Bodyguard, which is going to be the general's unit for Gondor. He's got a couple units of Ravenhelms of Cariandros, as well as some upgraded axemen of Lothernok, as well as some AP Citadel Guard. All the AP should do very well against the heavily armored forces of Isengard. He's also got some civilians here just to kind of pad out his lines. He's got a couple units of upgraded Gondor archers, as well as some Guards of Osgiliath mixed in with some upgraded Gondor spears. This line should hold very well. However, it is going to be probably the immediate target of Pharaoh's Isengard Ballista with that AoE effect. He's also got another unit of Gondor cavalry out here on the flank. The next army is going to be Numenor, led by Yaroslav. He's got some Farazim nobles, a very good elite multiple HP melee knight unit. He's got some Belagir archers. Numenor has been changed. A lot of their units have been taken away and been replaced with some cheaper Belagir units. You can see their similarities to the Belagir units of Umbar. However, instead of black and red, like Umbar, they are now black and blue for Numenor. So it's got a couple units of the Romena Bawabarim. Excuse me. I've been feeling rather ill lately, so I'll have to excuse the nasally voice and the slight cough here and there. But regardless, he's got some archers here. Very good armor, very good stats in melee, as well as very high attack, or very high missile damage is what I was trying to say. Also, they actually are AP archers now. However, though you can bring 2 of them before the price increase, they're very expensive, and they only have a few volleys of arrows, so you have to really be careful when you're picking your targets with these guys, and you do not want to use them as mainline archers, which is why he's got them behind his Belagir archers. He's also getting the Naru and Aru Royal Guard, very good elite archer unit. He's got a number of the Romena Abarim, very good sword and shield infantry unit. He's got some AP Romena Narakardar, which are an AP spear unit. He's also got some more Romena Abarim, as well as some Belagir pikemen behind them to back them up. He's also got some Naru Sentinels, so some more elite pikes, and some more cheaper pikes as well, as a unit of Royal Legion of Armenelos, a multiple HP sword and shield elite bodyguard unit. Also on the flank over here, he's got a unit of the Romena Carabarim, which is just a standard Lancer unit. But again, being Numenor, they're very elite, as well as rather expensive. And back here, with his entire army hidden, is going to be the Camping Panda 123, playing as Rohan. The only unit we can see on the field currently is this unit of First Marshal's Bodyguard, which is his General's Bodyguard. But of course, we will see his army in full later on once the battle begins. Without any further ado, we can go ahead and start it off. As you can tell, it's not a particularly long one, so I think we'll go ahead and slow it down a bit here. And again, big thank you to Ferret for sending me this replay. You can see Mirkwood has taken position up on this hill, and against the norm that is most Mirkwood armies, you can see that he's actually gone for a more heavy infantry approach rather than the archer spam that is pretty standard for most Mirkwood armies. So I'll be interested to see how he plays this. Here comes some catapult volleys, going straight into the Romena Caribarim, only taking out 1 though. Oh, that one's doing a bit better, they're taking out about 4. Very good target right there, because the Lancers are very expensive as well as very good. But it looks like Numenor is actually going to be running away from his allies, and that is not a good idea, because if he's going to split off and go with Rohan, that means it's going to be like a 2 versus 4 and a 2 versus 4 on both flanks. So it's really not a good idea to split your forces, especially when, as you can see, the blue team is very, very well lined up. They're supporting each other perfectly. They've got basically a whole solid line across the entire length of the battlefield. So it's going to be interesting to see how Team 2 can deal with this. And to be honest, I'm not really sure splitting up is going to be the perfect plan for doing that. Regardless, you can see Lothlorien still just kind of chilling over here, not really wanting to advance on these dwarves who are up here on this hill. I don't think anyone would really want to charge into dwarves on the hill. Catapult still firing down. And here comes the Rohan army, which seems to be made up of entirely cavalry. See some Riders of the Fold, Eastmark Riders. Yeah, it's entirely cavalry. Okay, so the Ride of the Rohirrim 2.0. Here we go. Everyone loved the Ride of the Rohirrim, where the Rohirrim ran down the Elves of Lindon. Pardon me. More catapults. That time going straight into the AP Spears of Numenor. A very good target right there. As well as nicking a few spearmen as well from the second unit, looks like. Yeah, that catapult's nasty. Doing some nasty work in here. Looks like Numenor is going to try to run to the forest here so he can hide some of his units so he won't be able to be targeted by that catapult. But not sure how well it's going to work out for him. Meanwhile, this Rohan cavalry is trying to circle around Lothlorien, and in all honesty, Lothlorien is probably going to struggle unless he receives some support from his allies, because he does not have a ton of spears. He's got a couple units of pikes and a couple units of infantry, but for the most part, the rest of his infantry is all sword and shield or javelin, so he's going to struggle against that Rohan army. However, you can see his rangers are beginning to open fire on the Rohan cavalry, which is also going to be charging in, actually. You can see he's got some chariots back there retreating. It looks like Mirkwood is bringing his horse archers to help out. And it looks like these Eastmark riders are going to be taking a volley of arrows before charging headlong into the Mython Lancers, who are going to countercharge after throwing a volley of their javelins. Looks like the Ents are also going to be rushing over here. Ents are also very good against cavalry as long as they don't get charged. And the Mython Lancers would be able to beat the Eastmark riders very easily. However, with all of this Rohan cavalry over here, it's going to be a difficult fight. Which is why he's committing his chariots as well as other unit of Lancers. And the constant arrow volleys are, of course, also helping out. But again, looks like the Eastmark riders not going to charge into the Wardens of Elastirion, but rather going for the Forlondon Marines, which is not a good idea, just because the Rangers would probably be able to cause more damage. Also, the Forlondon Marines are actually spearmen in melee, so they're going to take some unnecessary losses there, I feel. And it's actually going to break a unit of the Eastmark riders. And you can see so far that Rohan cavalry charge was not the best. Catapults still firing into the ranks of Numenor. Let's see if any of these hit. Getting a few of those AP archers, always a good thing. Meanwhile, over here, looks like the Isengard Ballista is also beginning to open fire, or probably has been firing the whole time, in all honesty. Taking out some spearmen, but Gondor has been able to kind of thin out his lines a little bit, so it's not going to inflict as much damage. And it looks like Lothlorien is still just kind of sitting here. However, you can see that Khazad-dûm is marching down the hill a little bit and is beginning to open fire with the realm of Lothlorien, who is also going to be returning fire with their fancy new missiles. But the most of the action looks like is going on over here. We've still got some cavalry engagements. We've got some Eastmark riders cutting down some... I can't even see what they're fighting. Maybe a chariot? I have no idea what they're fighting here. Looks like there's also some Numenor cavalry in here. Ooh, that was a good hit. Taking out a number of those Eastmark horse archers right there with the Lothlorien catapult. Over here, oh no! Look at all these First Marshal's bodyguard just charging straight to the stakes, as well as the Ered of Aldburg. That is a very unfortunate micro mistake by the Camden Panda there. Just losing so many of his elite cavalrymen like that is not a good thing. He was going after the Forlondon archers, but he apparently did not see those stakes. Not going to be a good idea to charge into pikemen. I mean, at least it is in the flank, but as soon as those pikemen turn around, the pikemen will be able to absolutely shred these cavalrymen. Meanwhile, over here, there's still just chaos ensuing, as cavalry generally does. We've got some Mython Lancers routing. They're just being overwhelmed in numbers by the Rohan cavalry. You can see Bloodbath McGrath is just trying to do his best, but with the Numenor and Rohan cavalry over here, he's really struggling. Looks like the Sons of Yorl are also in here. However, against Spearmen, they will take losses. So we should probably try to pull them out in Cycle Charge, because that's where they'll be able to do the most damage. See some chariots running in here, just disrupting the lines of cavalry. Looks like some Pharazim nobles of Numenor are also going to be charging headlong into some wardens of Elastirion. Looks like some broken Mython Lancers are also running around here. Yeah, you can see Mirkwood has got some archers over here, just archers and all kinds of things just pouring in from left and right. However, Riddermark cavalry charging into some sword and shield infantry here. They do some good damage there with their AP lances. Not great for Boyd there, not at all. Probably should have brought over his Hiriek instead of the sword and shield infantry, but we'll see how he does regardless. Ents are also over here taking some arrow volleys, but because they're Ents, they won't take too many losses to that. However, he does need to be careful because this is his general's bodyguard. You can see the Eastmark riders of Camden Panda are going to be trying to charge into the rear of these Ents. And they may be able to kill one or two. Nope, looks like the Ents are going to be able to countercharge and stop that. However, you can see that Numenor is also on the flank here. Pardon the truck driving past my open window. Yeah, Numenor is just trying to flank all the way around, and because of this, I believe Lyndon should probably just turn his whole army to face Numenor and Rohan. Oh no, there goes the Mirkwood general. Again, not a great idea to keep your general in units like trolls or Ents. And he definitely paid for that mistake. You can see just the Ents running through the Lyndon lines here. But yeah, Numenor is now over here as well, beginning to open fire with their archers. Lyndon does not have great armor, so he's going to struggle from this flanking fire. And he's going to have to scramble some units over here if he wants to do anything. Meanwhile, you can go ahead and take a look over here. You can see that the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm are taking some cycle charges from the Riders of the Golden Wood. And yeah, looks like the melee cav of Styrivdale just wasn't here in time. And his archers are taking an absolute beating from that Mirkwood cavalry, as well as just the Mirkwood archers. The Mirkwood archers are far superior to the Orc Hunters of Khazad-dûm. Or Lothlorien archers, rather. I think it's at Mirkwood. But I think you get the point. However, he is at least expending a lot of the ammo. Meanwhile, the Isengard Ballista still getting some hits here and there, but not getting a ton of kills. Looks like taking out a few of the Citadel Guard, though. Good hit there. Meanwhile, we've got some Gondor Cavalry. So just the entire cavalry is focused on this other side. You can see Gondor Cavalry going to be able to charge into the flanks now and rear side of Mirkwood and Linden. Going to be able to charge right into the General's unit, taking out the General of Linden there. But so far, not looking too good for Team 1. Blue team is really struggling here, especially as the infantry of Numenor is now starting to crash into the weary lines of Linden. Yeah, this is not going to be good. I don't really think Linden will be able to win this, especially not with the constant cavalry charges just all over the place. But if Mirkwood does decide to bring over most of his army, that may shortly turn about. Especially, he probably should just do that anyway, because Gondor will be facing Isengard, and Lothlorien will be up against Khazad. So he should probably just scramble his whole army over here to try to help out his ally before his ally gets 2v1, which is pretty much happening at the moment. Though his Ents are over here, now that his general's dead, he can use them pretty freely. So he's charging straight to the Romena Aberin and the pikemen. And they should do well against them, because there's no AP in that line. But still, with no support, they will take losses very quickly. You can see the lines of Linden trying to hold their best against that heavily armored Numenor infantry, but just slowly but surely getting pushed back. The catapult here still trying to fire, and if he can get some good catapult hits, it may turn around, but unfortunately for him, some AP spears are now in and amongst his catapult crew, stopping them from firing. Gondor Cavalry also charging into the catapult crew here. So some really, really solid teamwork from Team 2 right here, and Mirkwood really needs to pick things up here and help out his ally before all is lost. See him committing some Hirioth here against some pikemen, as well as some Romena Aberin. And yeah, this Linden line, they're struggling. They're trying to do their best, but they're just outnumbered and outgunned, really. They're just having a difficult time. However, you can see that a lot of the Rohan cavalry is dead. I mean, just look at the carnage here. You can actually see some Trolls of the White Hand from Isengard over here, as well as still the Mirkwood Horse Archers. Probably the perpetrators in the loss of most of this Rohan cavalry. You can actually see some Ward Riders over here as well. I totally didn't even see them. Yeah, that's probably the reason why so much of the Rohan cavalry has gone down so far, because of the support of the Team 1 allies. Yeah, over here with the advance of some Mirkwood infantry, you can see the Numenor troops slowly but surely getting pushed back, and he's going to have to be real careful here, because he's got some good units, but they're kind of spread out here. His archers are just kind of doing their own thing back there as well, so it's going to be difficult. Gondor Cavalry still doing its thing over here, but some more Mirkwood infantry is moving forward as we speak. It looks like basically the entire army of Mirkwood is now going to advance to help his ally. It might be a little too late. Well, no, I take it back. As long as he can get here quick enough, he might be able to save his Linden ally. But he probably should have mobilized a little bit earlier, and they would not have taken nearly as many casualties. Over here, Trolls of the White Hand butchering lots of the Sons of Yorl. Ward Riders still trying to do their best as well, but again, there's just so much Rohan cavalry, it's really difficult. However, with all these Mirkwood Horse Archers, they are doing okay-ish. Meanwhile, over here, it looks like the skirmish phase is still pretty much just going on. You can see Isengard Ballista is out of ammo. A lot of the Khazad-dûm archers are dead, and it looks like a decent amount of the Lothlorien archers are actually out of ammo, with the exception of the Kindred of Celeborn, who are going to be targeting just this main line here. That is the 1st Legion pikes and the 3rd Legion rather infantry. And the Khazad armor should be able to stand up to that pretty well, but again, the Kindred of Celeborn does have really insane missile damage, so they will take losses, but because they've got really good armor, the dwarves probably shouldn't take as many losses as other factions would. Again, the cavalry just running around like crazy here, just doing whatever they can, rear charging into the lines, charging into the archers, just disrupting everything. However, the infantry fight has kind of shifted tides here. You can see that with the advance of all this Mirkwood infantry, you can see Numenor is starting to struggle. Looks like Mirkwood has actually pushed forward here to help out this surrounded line of Noldoran Guard and Nithon pikemen here. And on the left, if I can actually get over there without lagging, we'll pause it just for a second here. So we can see what's going on. We got some Hirioth and some Hiri-Lang cutting down some Beligir pikemen, some Romena Aberim, and probably those AP spears or what's left of them in here as well. But again, you can see Numenor is really, really starting to struggle here. Really does not have all that much left over, except for a bunch of archers. And with most of the Rohan cavalry gone, I think this will probably end up resulting in a win for the Team 2 players on this side at least. can see there is still some units around here that are pretty scary. You can see Gondor Cavalry still rear charging to those Mirkwood lines, doing some good work, but with the advance of some Trolls of the White Hand into the back line of what's left of Numenor's infantry, it's going to be a massacre, to say the least. Meanwhile, over here, the combined forces of the Bows of Edmundur, as well as the remaining wards to Isengard, have been able to cut down a lot of the remaining Riddermark cavalry and the rest of the Rohan mounted forces. Looks like there's the Elven King's Palace Guard are also up in here. They should be able to do quite well. They'll take losses on the charges, but they will be able to still kill a lot of them. Over here we got some mercenary cavalry from Khazad-dûm actually helping out against the Mithrandir's retinue bodyguard who are around here as well. Very, very risky play here by all the players actually with their generals, because this is the general of Gondor. They are lancers though, so if they can charge into the back lines of these Hir-Yoth, may even rout them because they're shaken. So they're not going to rout them, but that charge is going to be absolutely devastating. And whoa, lag. I don't know why it's lagging so bad, but that's a little AIDS. Yeah, that charge, that was nasty. However, you can see, even though he does have some Gondor cavalry around here to support, there is some mercenary cavalry coming in from the rear as well, so not going to be great for Gondor. We'll take a quick look over here. Maybe, hopefully it'll clear up the lag a little bit there. And it looks like, actually, yes, Lothlorien has started to advance here. You can see the few remaining Khazad-dûm archers are instead going to be targeting the unshielded units like the Lorien Swordmasters and the Lorien Warriors. But up here you can see that there's actually some Lorien archers cutting down the few remaining Khazad-dûm archers. But looks like Khazad-dûm's not going to charge forward into that fray just yet. Looks like he kind of wants to wait for Lothlorien to come to him. Orc skirmishers over here as well as Lurtz's hunting pack, who are body-piercing archers, so they should be able to do some good damage to whatever they fire at, especially because they are firing at the low-armored units of Lothlorien. So their BP arrows are indeed targeting these Lorien Swordmasters. Because they're in loose formation, they're not going to take a ton of losses, but they will still take losses. That's just the nature of not having a shield and getting shot in the face with an arrow. It looks like Lothlorien has had enough, though. They're going to be charging forward here into the Khazad lines. Maybe not. Oh, okay, no, they are. He's just trying to move forward as one unit, which is, of course, a good idea. You don't ever want to go in as waves. And you don't really want to split up either, which is kind of why Team 2 struggled so much on that other flank. They were doing good at first with that initial charge of the Rohan Cavalry and everything, but they probably should have taken more advantage of the fact that Mirkwood hadn't brought over all of his army to help out. Probably should have just tried to double team Lyndon and just dealt with him as quickly as possible. But unfortunately, that was not the case. They kind of took their time with charging in there, and they paid for it. They allowed Isengard and Mirkwood to help out their ally and kind of save him there. But we'll witness this charge of the Lothlorien infantry charging headlong into this well-armored, well-fortified dwarven pike line with some good infantry to back it up there. Kindred of Celeborn charging in headlong as well, going straight into the fray with their allies. You can see the Khazad-dûm Reclaimers, their axe throwers, throwing in here as well. Looks like he's got some Karen Amroth Staff Masters on the flanks here as well. I'm going to try to go around the flank here, but looks like the 2nd Legion Axe Guard will be enough to stop them. Warg Skirmishers also throwing their payloads in. Looks like Gondor is also advancing over there on the flank, but again, kind of feels like a little too late at this point just because they didn't advance at the same time as their allies, so it's probably not going to end that well. Speaking of allies, there goes the Rohan General, I would assume. That's probably the Sons of Yorl. And you can see over here, it's basically just a mop-up now of the few remaining Numenor and Rohan units. Mirkwood and Lyndon have been victorious over here, and again, that lag is just unbearable. I don't know why it's lagging like that. But it really is triggering me, because that's been a weird issue that I've been having recently. It's not like my computer or everything, it just randomly started lagging in some replays, but whatever. We'll deal with it. We'll just go over here now, because basically over there on that other flank, it's just a mop-up. Numenor is just going to be getting run down by what's left of Mirkwood and Lyndon, especially because Numenor only has about archers left. Regardless, you can see the Dwarven line is holding steadfast. They are getting pushed in a few areas, like you can see right here in the center where the King of Celeborn are. For the most part, they're just doing very well. You can see Elamau is trying to do what he can with his Elder Council, but they're just getting absolutely shredded by the axe throwers of Khazad. And over here, where the Kaer Guardians are, they are also doing good work against the 3rd Legion Infantry and the 1st Legion Pikes. Although the 1st Legion Pikes are very elite, so they will be able to stand up to that, at least for some time. Dwarven Miners trying to stop the Elder Council from firing. We've also got some Legion Bodyguard going on the flank here, trying to outflank the Lorien troops. But that may just end up earning them the wrath of the 15 Riders of the Golden Wood, who will be able to cycle towards them in the rear if they so desire. Looks like Elamau is trying to retreat with his Elder Council. and begin to fire on a different point, probably at the backs of these Legion bodyguards. Yep, that is in fact what he's doing. Good idea. Those AP missiles will be very good against that elite unit. Might even be able to kill the general there. But regardless, so far, Stewart of Dale is doing a very good job at holding the line with his Dwarven infantry. And you can see over here, we've got the fight between Isengard and Gondor. You can see Ravenhelm is trying to go on the flank, but they're getting shot by Uruk-hai crossbows and Snaga skirmishers. And Fair is also scrambling some Uruk-hai infantry to stop them. Meanwhile, the Gondor spearmen are just having a real difficult time against the Dunderling clansmen. The Gondor spears are just too spread out to really do any damage, which is unfortunate because in a standard fight with these upgraded Gondor spearmen versus Dunderling clansmen, the Dunderling clansmen would lose every time. Uruk-hai pikemen also doing the same thing to the Gondor spearmen here. Civilians just getting absolutely butchered. Unfortunately, it looks like Gondor is really kind of thinning out his line here. See, just pockets of infantry here and there is really not going to cut it against this Isengard force. Although you can see the Axe and the Wasp are not doing pretty good against the Uruk-hai infantry, but again, they're kind of just out here by themselves, so they're going to take losses. There goes the Khazad-dûm general. Not a good idea to have him get jabbed in the back there. However, there are some Uruk-hai crossbowmen here getting cut down by Smith Rander's Retinue bodyguard, and if this bodyguard can rear charge into enough of the Isengard line, he may be able to just catch a break here. But so far, yeah, it looks like Gondor is having a real difficult time. He probably should have waited for his Guards of Osgiliath to advance before pushing forward the rest of his infantry, because you can see they're just now arriving, which is really not a good thing. He's also got some Citadel Guard back there. He's really just attacking waves, which is always, as I always say, is not a good idea. If you're going to attack, you got to full send. Meanwhile, he's got some Ithilien Rangers back here doing what they can, but again, he's still just got these students of Guards of Osgiliath just kind of sitting back here, just doing nothing, which is real unfortunate, because they would be able to give the Uruk-hai pikemen at least a good fight. The Uruk-hai pikemen would probably still win, but it'd be a good fight. Meanwhile, over here, the Ravenhelms with Karandros just getting outmanned, outgunned over here. They would normally be able to do very well if they were given support by something like Gondor Infantry or Gondor Spearmen. Because they're just completely by themselves here, getting completely surrounded, they're just getting absolutely butchered. Lurtz's Hunting Pack also going around the flank here, probably going to be trying to shoot at things like those pikemen that are still slowly but surely making their way over here. Speaking of, we've got some Warg Skirmishers charging into the Ithilien Rangers, although he should probably pull them out quickly before the Guards of Osgiliath get there. Looks like he was not able to notice in time, so he's going to lose a lot of these Warg Skirmishers, and he may end up even routing. Gondor Spearmen breaking. Guards of Osgiliath are finally here, but because they're by themselves now, not being given any support, attacked from all sides, they're just dropping numbers oh so quickly. It looks like Mirkwood has finished up, Mirkwood and Linden have finished up with Rohan and Numenor, because they're now over here to support their allies. This is probably going to be the end of Gondor, as Mirkwood charges into the rear of his units. It's going to be just about it, probably, for Gondor. Just a matter of time, really. Meanwhile, over here we've got a pretty damn close fight, actually, between Khazad-dûm and Mirkwood. You can see in the center, I keep saying Mirkwood, but it's Lothlorien. I'm sorry. Lothlorien has actually managed to bust through the center here. However, on the flanks, looks like Khazad-dûm has won, so he's going to be able to kind of support his lines here and try to do his best to stop the flank. And again, over here, the Elder Council just throwing javelin after javelin into these Legion bodyguard, really cutting them down to size, down to only about 22 men remaining. Over here, Khazad-dûm Reclaimers trying to do their best at cutting down the last riders of the Golden Wood. But again, they are going to have a difficult time with those constant cycle charges. But again, a close fight over here. In all honesty, I'm not sure. If left alone, I'm not really sure who would win this fight, because the Javelins are still doing their thing, and there are still some pretty elite units left. Well, actually, I take that back. Probably Khazad-dûm would win, just because Lothlorien numbers are definitely waning. He doesn't have all that many elites left. And as soon as those elites go down, his mainline infantry will just not be able to stand up to that of Khazad-dûm. So yeah, probably it's going to be ending in a victory for Khazad-dûm over here, but still a good fight nevertheless. Riders of the Golden Woods still just back here chilling. Going to be trying to cycle charge wherever they can. Looks like they're going to be charging into the back of these Legion Bodyguard and 3rd Legion Infantry. Good choice. But looks like they're not going to really get a great charge there, especially after a counter charge from the Legion Bodyguard. Going to actually claim the life of one of the riders of the Golden Wood. And yeah, looks like Lothlorien was a good try, but looks like that's probably going to be about it for him. Meanwhile, Gondor is, yeah, just slowly but surely getting cut down to size with the advance of the Mirkwood and Linden remnants. And again, because he just advanced in waves like this, Isengard has really just been able to absolutely butcher the majority of his force. And you can see he hasn't even used his Nazca yet, which he's just now committing. And you can see Gondor trying to scramble some guards of Osgiliath to stop the flank here of Mirkwood, but it's really just not going to be enough here, especially with the Nazkai coming in from the rear. That's going to be about it for this guards of Osgiliath, and it's probably just going to immediately rout actually after getting charged in the rear. Oh, excuse me. Almost sneezed there. Oop, there goes the... Oh, no, there goes the Rohan General. I thought he had already died, but I guess not. And I take it back. I actually thought the Nazkai were going to rear charge the guards of Osgiliath, but they're instead going to charge into the Citadel Guard over here. They're just going to absolutely butcher the Citadel Guard. There's going to be no chance for those Citadel Guard to win that fight there. Meanwhile, over here, the guards of Osgiliath are just slowly but surely getting cut down. Already thinking about routing, actually, as well. And that's probably going to be about it for Team 2. You can see over here, Lothlorien is just about done for. He's got some Elder Council, he's got a few Staff Masters, but that's about it as well. So that's probably going to be about the end of this replay. I think we could probably afford to speed it up just a little bit. Well, actually, no, maybe we'll watch these Axemen of Lothernok do their thing. We'll watch them cut down these Uruk-hai infantry. The AP Axemen should win this fight, or at least they probably would if left unattended, but with the advance of some Lurtz's hunting pack, that's probably going to end in a loss for the Gondor Axemen. Over here you can see, I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, as you can see, like, as soon as the pikemen were able to get to this infantry line there, he's actually able to hold, which is unfortunate, which is why it's unfortunate that he rushed his infantry ahead of his pikes, because if he had advanced them together, then he would have been able to do much, much better. But unfortunately that was just not the case for him. Citadel Guard routing, Guards of Osgiliath routing, just everything's routing. Yep, just not a good time for him. So that's going to be about it for Gondor, with the exception of some Arthurian Rangers back here who will get cut down shortly, and the Axemen over here who are currently just getting destroyed by the Uruk-hai infantry and Lurtz's hunting pack, who are by no means bad in melee. Oh, with Rangers retinue bodyguards still up though. If they run through these stakes, they'll die, but if they walk through them, they'll be fine. And they ran through them at the last second. There goes the Gondor General. Well, unfortunate. But at least one of them made it through and was able to charge into these Snark Scorchers. Meanwhile, we still got some Gondor archers over here routing. Arthurian Ranger is going to get absolutely charged by all of these units over here. Just going to immediately rout, probably. Shaken. They might fight for a little bit, but they're going to rout in a pretty short time. We'll watch them do their little last stand here. And yep, they go ahead. They're going ahead and routed. And over here it looks like Khazad-dûm has just about finished up with Lothlorien as well. So, this battle replay has ended in a victory for Team 1, but it was still a good battle. I enjoyed it. I hope you guys did too. I think we can go ahead and speed it up now to the end. Yeah, it was a good battle. I just think Team 2 made some early mistakes, like splitting up and advancing in waves was probably their biggest mistakes. If you can just shy away from those two things, if you don't split up and if you don't advance in waves, you'll have a decent shot at winning in just about any battle. And of course, if you see your enemy doing those things, then you need to take advantage of it. And you will be rewarded. What else? Probably Numenor and Rohan might have even been able to win against Lindon if they had double teamed against Lindon like right away. But unfortunately, they just kind of really took their time about going after Lindon, which allowed Mirkwood to advance with most of his infantry, as well as Isengard even brought over his trolls and some of his wargs over there as well. So if they were able to advance before Lindon's allies were able to come to him, they probably would have done a lot better there. But still, it was a close battle on that side nevertheless. It was a good fight. We'll go over here and look at the carnage if we can get there in time. Yeah, I mean, look at all this. All the cavalry. Cavalry just causes all kinds of chaos. It's absolutely insane. I don't know why, but it seems like that particular part of the map is just lagging for me. But whatever. We saw most of that battle, so it's all good. And yeah, that's going to be it for this replay. Looks like the most kills on Team 1 went to Pharaoh. Most kills on Team 2 went to Wilbo. We can look here at the exact kills. Only 23 on the Nazkai, but they didn't really ever even fight. Skirmishers did good. Ballista did okay, I guess. Crossbowmen did very well. Skirmishers also did very well. And actually, Yeah, the Dunedin Clansmen just kind of did their thing. And 79 kills isn't a lot for the Trolls of the White Hand, but you have to remember that they were entirely fighting cavalry for the most of this battle, so that actually is quite a good number of kills when fighting against an all-cavalry army like he was. But yeah, that'll pretty much be the end of this replay. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please comment, like, and subscribe. If you did not, just tell me what I did wrong. I'll be sure to fix it in the next one. So farewell wherever you fare, till your eyes receive you at your journey's end.